Alex Sepiel, and this is a video presentation for Geography 340, Asian Topics. And this is A Changing Tibet, Tradition in the Face of Globalization. Beginning with the physical geography of the Tibetan Plateau, it is the highest region on Earth with an average altitude of 14,000 feet. The area of the Tibetan Plateau is 970,000 square miles, and that is located in China. Several of the world's largest rivers have their headwaters located in the Tibetan Plateau. Those include the Ganges, Yangtze, and Yellow River. Those rivers are fed almost entirely by meltwater. It is home to the Himalayas, which contain Mount Everest and all other peaks over 26,000 feet. This mountain range formed when the Indian Plate cascaded into the Eurasian Plate, creating the Himalayas. The Greater Plateau receives only between 4 and 12 inches of precipitation a year. This means that grasslands dominate the Greater Plateau due to lack of precipitation. Precipitation falls mostly as hail in the plateau region. The capital of Tibet is Lhasa. To Tibetan history, past and recent. The Tibetan Empire was one of the longest-running empires to ever hold Tibet. Their reign lasted from 604 CE to 850 CE. The Mongols then conquered Tibet under the Yuan dynasty in 1244 CE. There is a large period of time in Tibet where several warlords held various regions. That accounts for the discrepancy in time. The first Dalai Lama was chosen by the Mongol Empire, Attila Khan. High Lama Sonam Gasto became the first Dalai Lama in 1598. How ironic that we have to thank one of the most deadly leaders in history for one of the most peaceful religions. Tibet experienced its first European contact in 1624 CE. China decrees its commissioners in Lhasa to supervise the selection of the Dalai Lama and other senior lamas in 1793. This is the first imposition of Chinese government control imposed in Tibet. Soon after that, in 1850, all foreigners are banned from Tibet. This was due to the Tibetan government at the time, and not because of the Chinese government. British military expeditions forced Dalai Lama to flee Lhasa in 1904. This is more recent history. Britain forces deal with trade within Tibet. They monitor all trade going in and out of Tibet. Britain acknowledges the Chinese sovereignty in Tibet in 1906. In 1912, independent Tibet was declared, and the China Republic established Chinese troops on the border and within parts of this region. In 1935, the 14th and current Dalai Lama was born in a small village outside Lhasa. In 1950, China invades Tibet, declaring it an autonomous state. Receiving no support from the outside world, this is still the status of the country. Uprising in Lhasa killed thousands. Up to 30,000 Tibetan individuals were killed in 1959. Separatist groups still remain within Tibet and continue to cause mayhem to the Chinese government. Moving on to the cultural landscape of Tibet. The population of the Tibet Autonomous Region, as told by the current Chinese Republic, is 3.18 million people. The Chinese government annexed Tibet in the 1950s, breaking up ethnic Tibet into several states, including the Tibet Autonomous Regions. The other two current Chinese states are Amdo and Kham. It is widely believed by many outside views that the Chinese government, in an effort to break up ethnic Tibet and inundate the area with Han Chinese, broke up this region into 3 different territories. I'll quickly touch upon Buddhism in Tibet before moving on any further. The dominant religion in Tibet currently has 300 million followers worldwide. That follows the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, who found enlightenment through meditation. The goals of Buddhism are to lead a moral life, to be mindful and aware of thoughts and actions, and to develop wisdom and understanding through meditation, patience, and practice. Many followers of this religion follow the 10 pillars of Buddhism, which were laid out by the founder, Siddhartha Gautama. I'd like to touch upon the policy One Belt, One Road by the Chinese Republic. This policy threatens not only Buddhism as a whole religion, but also ethnic Tibet as a country. The Chinese government is currently spending billions of yen to form airports, roads, railways, and to increase the urbanization of the Tibetan region. One reason for this project is to facilitate the migration of more loyal Han Chinese into this region. Another, more important reason is to facilitate the ease of military deployment into this separatist area that China still considers hostile. Another reason for this could be its close border with India, allowing the Chinese to deploy military resources if needed into that area. Hydroelectric dams will be created in this project. They will be created on rivers with transboundary flows, meaning that they will affect billions of peoples who live in the watersheds of these areas. As mentioned before, some of those rivers include the Yellow and the Ganges River, which flow into South and Southeast Asia. The environmental damage from this project is likely to affect herding cultures in the Tibetan region, as well as every other lifestyle practice in Tibet, largely in part due to the infrastructure projects and increased tourism. Ecotourism is a huge part of Tibetan's burgeoning industry. Parts of China's 5-year plan is to create a second railroad linking Tibet, the Tibetan capital of Lhasa, to the southwestern city of Chengdu. Chengdu has a population of 11 million people, and it would cut travel time down to 15 hours to connect the two major cities. The Tibetan people have mixed opinions on ecotourism. Many are untrained and do not know how to properly take care of their environments. The Chinese government has put little to no effort into training its people about ecotourism. This sort of ecotourism is expected to bring large amounts of money and large amounts of people into the region. This has many mixed opinions and could go very badly. Thank you for watching, and this has been a short film on Tibet Autonomous Region.